West, y'all.
All right. Okay. Nicholai, thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
No, thank you for inviting me, man.
Hope your family's right, like during the storm and all that. It wasn't much of a storm, but
Yeah, like for me coming straight from Samoa, I was like, Auckland was going all wild about this storm. I was like, this is a normal day. This is a normal, like, rainy day in Samoa. My sisters were like, oh, you have to prepare yourself, like, make sure you look after, clean your room, put all your stuff on the top shelf. I was like, it's only windy, man. This is nothing.
no, you're right, man. You're right, because in Samoa and the islands is rainy season right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's our summer is their rainy season, then our winter will be their dry season.
Yeah.
But you're right, man. That's normal.
Yeah, it's normal weather.
That's the normal weather, man.
Yeah. So I woke up this morning, it was sunny. I was like, told you guys. Not enough faith.
But yeah, all the warning we got, like on the news, like I saw on the news they put those sand dunes around and people come with sandbags.
Yeah. I think it was just affected. Those people affected were in the low-lying areas. Because we live in Manukau, which is like going up the mountain kind of. So we were all right, but everyone else that lives like just down from there, like Mangere and South Island. Oh, sorry, not South Island, like South Auckland.
Yeah. How about 2 weeks ago when they had the floods? Did you guys get affected?
No, we didn't as well. So, yeah, it was just pouring rain. That was it. But then you see all these other places near to where we stay was getting flooded. I was like, oh, man, really?
Yeah.
I think that's what happens when we go to church every Sunday.
But if you remember Samoa, like I think 2 years ago, there was that flood. The whole town was flooded. Huh?
Oh yeah. But then
you were
Samoa,
there that time?
I was there. But then Samoa gets flooded most of the times. I think it's just bad infrastructure at the time. But I think Samoa's learned from it and they've built better drainage system, so it's much better now. So before I came, I haven't heard of any other floods. But Samoa just has a bipolar weather like Auckland does. So it rains today and then it's sunny tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah.
I think I saw one of a poetic stories. He's like over there in Samoa, like it was real rainy, and they look like when the rain came here on Monday. I was thinking, they look like his stories. Like, but that's typical weather in rainy season over there. Yeah. So that was part of the new government thing to upgrade Samoa's infrastructure.
Yeah, which is good. Which is good. They've put the country's money to use. To good use. not that they're not, but but yeah, they've upgraded the drainage system a lot. So especially in the town area, man, knowing that Mount Vaya is there. Yeah. So all the water from there comes down to going to the ocean, and then it just goes through the city.
All right.
Which is bad.
Yeah. So they probably just made the drains bigger, or dig some trenches or something.
Well, I think those were drainage from ages ago.
Oh yeah.
So they just needed to renew it, like get new stuff in there. It's a lot of rubbish.
Yeah.
It's probably that all blocked up.
Yeah. So nothing new. Nothing new then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like because I think everyone was because we got a power cut Monday night.
Oh yeah, on your side?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, but that was about it. There was nothing. I mean, we were prepared because 2 weeks ago when the floods happened, there was flooding around our west, like in Ranui.
Yeah. And
up into the Rangi and Scenic Drive, there was a lot of flooding there.
Because it was mostly your guys' area that was affected, eh? Like, not Te Aretu, but Ranui, those ways.
And I think out south was Mangere, I think.
Yeah, it was Mangere.
And the airport.
Yeah. So it's mostly those low-lying areas.
Yeah.
And they're close to, what do you call it? The swamp areas where the water is? Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the right word, but
No, man, it's weird, eh? Because after that, like, there was no warnings in there, but now they were like overdid it with the watch out for the storm and all the warnings and be prepared, but it wasn't really that bad in the end.
Yeah,
which was lucky for Auckland anyway, because it was bad down the line down in Napier and Gisborne.
It's probably where the eye of the storm was anyway. So. But yeah, all in all, as long as we're safe, that's But it's good. Like from the first flood, then people learned what to do like during this one.
Yeah.
One of my uncles owns a mechanic shop down in Otahu. So they got affected there. All the water went in, but then I saw them on I saw his daughter's stories. They were working hard on Monday trying to build it. I was like, oh, you should have called me to come and help. But
yeah. Wow. But as a photographer, was that an opportunity to take some shots like a event like this?
Yeah. Well, as a photographer, I would say that that's not my field.
Oh, okay,
That's not my type of photography, which if it rains, well, it's some time for me to stay in. So I'm more of a wedding and portrait photographer. That's where my skills are. Not so much on that area, because my cameras are expensive. Oh, yeah. Cameras are expensive. And if it rains, you just stay inside, don't take it out. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good opportunity, but it's just not my style of shooting. That's why I wouldn't go out and take photos of, the community or, stuff that happens, like journalism kind of photography. Yeah. So that's just way out of my comfort zone. I should try it one day, but I'm just too scared I don't even have the money to buy a new camera at the moment.
No, that's cool, because we talked before you jumped on the mics and said I saw your stuff on a mutual friend of ours in Samoa, and it was I found it was a good story. Like you saying, you posted that you got your photography business in Samoa and you're going to move to New Zealand and start it up here. Yeah.
Thank God people saw that, because, I try to make it a really sad story kind of thing that I'm leaving. But at the back of that, it's all about marketing. Before I came here, I wanted to put something out there so people can just share it around. And shout out to my girl, Emilinge, because, people that know other people, especially people that live in New Zealand, and that's the market I want to jump into. So that's why I did that. I was like, social media is like free advertisement. Put anything on there and people will see it. So it got us to here. So shout out to you.
It works. No.
It works.
But in terms of social media in Samoa, it's because I remember when I was there, Wi-Fi wasn't a big thing. Yeah. Hardly anyone had it. You had to go shop, get some data. Yeah, and use that. And that was the majority of.
Yeah, and it still is. It still is. So in Samoa, we're still using data, like normal data on our phones to do our work. But usually, if Wi-Fi is much more expensive than a normal data bundle that you would buy on your phone. So yeah, we're still a step behind, but it's gonna get there soon. So, but no matter what, I think that was the biggest thing when I came here. When I got my SIM card, I was like, try to buy some data. It's expensive. Like over here, Wi-Fi is cheaper than buying data, right? Yeah. In Samoa, it's cheaper for you to buy data than to buy a Wi-Fi. Yeah. Because you buy the, what is it called? The Wi-Fi kit to put in your house, and then you have to buy a bundle. And then, your laptop's on it, your phone's on it, your cousins come over and they're on it. Yeah. Like in New Zealand, it's fine because
everyone has it.
But everyone has it. Yeah. But then Samoa, it'll be more expensive to work off of Wi-Fi. So it's mostly the businesses that have it. So where I worked, like most of the places I worked, I was just going hard on the Wi-Fi because, it's partially free. But yeah, Wi-Fi is not very big in the island at the moment. But they have it.
Yeah. So the name of your business is White Photography?
Yeah, so my photography business is White Light Photography.
White Light Photography, yeah.
Funny story about the name is something that people don't know. Some of them ask me, why do you call it white light? Is it because you're white? I was like, that's a bit racist. But no, so I used to study in China for 5 years. This was 2013 up until 2018. When you get to China, no matter where you're from in the world, your Chinese teacher is going to give you a Chinese name, and that's your name throughout that 5 years. That people are going to call you that. So, to my luck, my teacher called me Bai Guang, which is Bai means white and Guang means light. So I was so when I started out my photography business started out from China when I was there. And I was looking for a name. I was like, I'm just going to use this and just translate it to white light. And then it just has a backstory to it. And white light relates to, cameras and everything. You're using light and all of that. So people just ask me and I just tell them that story. It's like, oh, I always thought because you were white and you were a photographer. Like,
that's probably what your teacher thought too when she gave me that name.
I saw the name and I was like, I saw the name at the first time, but I didn't know how to speak Chinese at that time, but I know how to pronounce it. And then I found out later what it means. And all my friends, because most of the Samoans, the teacher would just translate it according to your name. My name's Nicholai. It's no close to anything to Baiguang. Like, that's different. I have a friend that I've got, like, he has a name that is, when you sound it in Chinese, it still sounds the same as his name. I was like, why can't you give me one of those? But I think my teacher saw my future, so...
So was that a photography course in China, was it?
No, I studied marketing.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a marketing major, specifically in digital marketing. So my main career is I'm a digital marketer, but marketing in general. Photography was something I did on the side.
Oh, okay.
And I built it up, which makes me proud of myself, but I built it up from scratch, started from nothing. I always wanted to be a photographer. Like,
how come? What was the earliest before that?
I was about, say, 13, 14, when I was in school in Marawa School, and I used to stay with my auntie and her daughter in Otahu. So her daughter went to Otahu College, and she took photography for, I think, Form 6. So she had a project, which was their house was 2-story. So when you walk up the stairs, it goes like, you go up and then you go up again on the side. So she left her project there with pictures on it. I think it was a friend, and then they were doing some lighting kind of thing, photography lighting kind of experiment kind of thing. And this was me coming home after school and just standing there and looking at it. And it, it just blew it blew me away. I was like, man, that looks, I don't know what ticked myself to because it was eye-catching. And I was like, I want to do that. And then I was asking her, what's that? And she goes, oh, it's for my photography class. And she goes, and at that time, you don't know what it is. Like, you know what a camera is, but you don't know the technical side of it. And then I was like, what is it? And she goes, oh, it's my photography class. And I was, what's photography? It's like when you use a camera to take pictures. And I go, but that's easy. And she goes, no, there's more technical side of it. But then she took it as one of her classes. But nobody knew that from that time, I've always focused to be a photographer. I've always wanted to be one. I just wasn't equipped enough with financially or, to buy a camera at that time or later on those years. But then after that, I moved to Samoa. So in school in New Zealand, I think you start photography classes from Form 6 and Form 7. So I was 5th form, and I was so looking forward to taking photography the next year. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go, ask my auntie or ask my mom for some, support to buy me a camera to take photography on 6th form. But then my grandfather came over. He came over from Samoa for a holiday. And then he took me with him to Samoa. He said, oh, I'll take you to Samoa for a month and then you can come back. Went to Samoa, didn't want to come back. This was 2003.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I was like, oh, this is freedom. But yeah, no, I was born in Samoa. I was brought up there for the first 10 years of my life before I moved back here because my mom stays here. But my grandparents take care of me. So I came back for better schooling and stuff like that. But then there's that word, like, you can take the boy out the island, but you can never take the island out of the boy. Like, you always come here and your mind is always back home. So to me, when my grandfather asked me to come back with him for that month, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to find a way to stay. But yeah, I just went up to him. I was like, yeah, I'm going to stay. I was like, good, I want you to stay. So he took me to school. And this was still me with the New Zealand mindset. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. They probably have photography there. So he took me to Samoa College. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take photography. And then I went to school for the first day, and then the teacher goes, you have to pick your subjects. All I see on there is commerce. It's either you're a commerce student or you're an art student or you're a science student. That's it. And I was like, you guys don't have photography? It's like, Lee, we don't do that here. I was gutted, but I was like, oh, well, I got nothing else to do. And that's how it got me into to this side of my career, being a marketing person, and and I was like, oh yeah, I'll probably do this for the rest of my life then.
Would you have taken art? Would that be similar? It would be a similar kind of pathway.
So arts as in geography.
Oh, okay.
Geography, history, English kind of arts, but not actual arts like that we have here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where it started off, and photography was always in the back of my mind. And I'm a kind of a go-getter kind of person. I couldn't get it then, but I knew it. I knew at the back of my mind I'll get it. Like, I'll be there, I'll do it. And then once I got to China, was open up to the world and saw all this, the life out there. And, China has helped us out a lot in terms of, they give us a lot of money to live out there. And I was like, man, I'm going to take this. I'm going to buy myself a camera. Bought probably the most cheapest Canon there was at that time. Because I'm still a student, I need to survive and eat and drink, The
prices would be cheaper there, right?
It's still expensive. It's expensive. So I bought that camera for like 3,000 Chinese. Well, it's expensive in their money, for like 3,000 Chinese dollars, and started from there. But every time I look back to those photos, I'm like, really? That's what you took? But then it's a learning curve. It's a learning process, and it's gotten me to where I am today. So.
It was your auntie that was doing photography?
It was my cousin.
It was your cousin?
Yeah.
Is she still doing it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. And she's always envious of where I am now in photography, because I always talk to her, and I say, I'm shooting a wedding, because we're really close. So she's the only child, and I was brought in to be like her little brother kind of thing. But yeah, every time she sees me posting stories and where I am and all these photos and all these stuff that I'm getting through photography, she'll be like, man, I wanted to do that. And I was like, you can still do it. It's like, I don't have time, I have kids and all that. It's not an excuse, it's just a barrier that comes up through your life that stops you from doing what you want to do.
Yeah. If you're learning digital marketing, or before that, I heard that it's easy for Samoans to get a visa to China now, because of the, how China helps out the islands.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's easy for Samoans, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
It's like going from New Zealand going to Australia. It's like that. A Kiwi going to Australia.
Yeah. It's kind of coming to New Zealand kind of thing. Well, yeah, it's kind of coming to New Zealand. It's easy to get a visa, a travel visa to come here. So it's kind of like that for China. But then we were students. Like, we would get the visa either way because we're students. But I'm not sure about the travel thing. Because that's a whole different side of why you're traveling to China. I don't know if they do you have enough money in your account kind of thing, just to take care of yourself there. I'm not sure how that works.
Oh, okay. So you did a digital marketing course. Well, what is that? That's like social media and...
So firstly, when I applied for the scholarship in China to get a bachelor's of marketing. And then I got that, but then that's marketing as generally speaking, all these other little things are under it. But then I think it was my third year, I had a digital marketing class. I think that's where it spanned from it. And I was like, I'm not so much of this financial market kind of guy. Like, I don't like numbers. And then I also had a communication and advertising class, and I was like, damn, this is me. This is what I want to do. Like, if I go back home, I'm going to apply for jobs in these. And I'm so thankful when I came back to Samoa. Like, I jumped on a job with Taumesina Resort, which is one of the biggest resorts in the island right now. And they were looking, and digital marketing is fairly new in the islands. Like, you don't have many people that know how to do it. People think that you're a digital marketer, all you do is just post something online. But then it's more technical than it is social. Like, anyone can post a photo, anyone can do a caption, that's fine. But how do you use that in terms of a marketing point of view to gain sales for the company? So I can just put this photo here, and then only 2 people see it. That's bloody waste of time.
Yeah.
You're just, it's more technical than it sounds. But then, I got a job at Taumesina Resort, and then moved on to Vodafone Samoa because it's an upcoming role within the companies now, because everything is online, and they need people that understand how to technically use social media platforms to gain for the company. So Vodafone opened up a whole new role, which was new. Nobody was there for me to come in and do that for them, which was really fun. Like, I don't know, if someone's watching today and they're like in marketing, go do digital marketing. It's probably the most fun thing to do.
Especially in Samoa, where, like you said, there's hardly any.
Yeah,
and it's beginning to build up there. So.
It is. And
all these big companies, they need...
Exactly. Especially these, like, in terms of Vodafone. My last job before I came was I worked for Vailima Breweries. They hired me because of that, because they needed someone to push their social media platform. And as easy as it may seem, you know, once you get into it and you know the technical side of everything else, man, you'll understand that everything is online. Like we first spoke, like that post you saw on our mutual friends page, I didn't do that just to, you know, let people know I'm coming to New Zealand. I did that so people can see that my business is coming from Samoa to New Zealand, and I'm trying to engage them to give me business there. You know, it all comes out to you have to have a business mind to do that. But then, as much as it is social media, you know, it's fun. But then you can take that fun and make money out of it. You know what I mean?
Because I try to do some of that for the podcast and all that kind of stuff. Like use all the social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram and all that. But then, you know, when you have to get into the analytics and all that, I find that, man, hard, man. Like, too much work. Like, but that's your job, huh?
That's the actual job. Like, it's all analytics at the back, like the back end, and you post a photo today, and then you go tomorrow and look at the analytics and see which demographics saw that, and who was seeing your posts and all of that, and then you work around the analytics, and you'll be like, okay, only people from 25 to 30 are more interested on the posts. So these are the people you have to think about, and then you cater to what they want in terms of their demographic. Like, you're selling a phone, like, you're not going to sell a phone and say, oh, it's good for you to, like, something that relates to someone older, because they're not going to see it. Your demographic is 25 to 30. So you have to cater to these kind of things, which is, that's what I mean. It's very technical at the end.
Yeah, and I find it real daunting, eh?
Yeah,
like, and it's sort of, and kind of scary too. Yeah. Because sometimes I don't want to see the numbers, like, sort of thing. Oh, man. Because what does that mean? What does it actually mean? And I know what you're saying when you go in and find the demographics and you, for every single post, why is this post different to this post? Yeah. Because that's another thing, when every time I post out stuff, they're all different. The numbers are all different for each. Yeah. Like, one hits, one doesn't. Yeah. And I just don't know why. But then I know I have to go in and have a look. Yeah. You have to go in and have a look. Because sometimes it falls down to the algorithm of whatever social platform you're on. But then if you have the followers, is probably the most biggest thing that, like, for instance, if it's TikTok, like, you post something, people are viewing it from, like, people are not your friends and stuff like that. So the algorithm works within that, like, bringing your video up so all these people can see. But then platforms like Instagram and Facebook, where you have to gain followers to actually, and these followers will see your posts no matter what. Like, you'll probably be the person to pop up on their page. But it's just thinking around in ways to make it more, what's the word? You know, ways to be attractive to the viewer, because you can't just put anything up there, you know. It has to be interesting. And, you know, I went through your Instagram before I even came here, because as you asked me, have you ever, do you listen to podcasts? Like, and I said, oh, I'm from the islands, and we don't even listen to that. We hardly listen to the radio. But yeah, it's just taking parts of from what you're doing that would be interesting to the people. Like, yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but that's kind of what it is. Yeah, it's work anyway. It's work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and I think it's a lot of work people don't want to do, don't, just unconscious about. Yeah, you know, they just do it, and then I think the people that hit and get a lot of followers in that, I think they've just done something that I don't think they've actually gone into the analytics.
Yeah, it's not so much, well, for these people that are not digital marketers or haven't studied marketing or doesn't even know anything about it, all they know is social media. I post something up. I think it's the reason why these people get so many viewers and so many followers is because they have a niche. So they have a specific niche that people will come back to. So they'll be saying, oh, I do funny videos, like I talk specifically about the Samoan life and stuff like that. So that's not specifically me, but an example. That's my niche, and that's what I put on social media. So every time I want to see something and laugh to something that is Samoan related and, you know, family related, I'll go find your name. I'll be like, yeah, you probably posted something else, you know. That's the kind of thing that's happening on social media, and that's why that's why most of these people are getting so many views, is because they're doing the same thing but in different aspects. You know what I mean? Like they have a niche of what they do on social media, and
it's kind of like what I learned with podcasting. Like I heard that because every podcast in the world there's thousands, and they're all specific. Yeah. So you're only gonna get that niche audience. Yeah. Like if there's a podcast about looking after turtles. Yeah. They're going to talk about. There's turtles. Probably 100,000 people out there in the world. Yeah. That love that. So they only those people will listen to it.
Exactly. Yeah. I know what you mean. But then you have to, because it's such a limited topic that you're talking about, then you look for the interesting things within that topic. Like something that people will learn, or like something new. Like you don't have to post the whole podcast, but you take that little snippet. They'll be like, this is probably something that they will be interested in. Oh, I didn't know turtles live up to 150 years. Thanks to Nemo. I learned that off Nemo. But yeah, it's just like that. It's finding ways to sell your business in terms of what you are actually selling.
So for your hobby, and now it's your business, how much of the digital marketing do you use into that? Probably everything, eh? A lot. And is it a point where your hobby is now taking over your career? Like now, because there's always the thing where people work 9 to 5, but they have a hobby, and their goal was to try and sustain the hobby
and the career,
and as a career, and leave the 9 to 5 and do this full time.
Yeah. Obviously, that's the whole point. I kind of moved back to New Zealand. Samoa is awesome. I made good business there in terms of the diaspora that comes in to get married there. I focus more on these weddings, and once I found that throughout the first 2 years that I was there, mostly people from overseas were messaging me. Like not so much the Samoans in Samoa, but probably 80% of my clientele is from New Zealand, Australia, America, Hawaii. And these are people that are coming to get married there. But they wouldn't know about me if I didn't do this back area of working myself up on social media, because I wanted my name out there. So then I took the experience that I got from China and all this going to school for 4 years, and then I put it into that. And I was like, you know, I'm a new photographer. Nobody knows me. I want to be the first name that they think of. And then I just started posting. And I started doing free jobs. My first, and before I even left China, I already emailed Evengi. I've already emailed Tanoa. Already emailed Janet. So these are the people that took a chance on me. And I mentioned it on the email. I was like, I'm a photographer. I love doing photography. I can do free jobs for you just to get my name out there. And they were very, helpful, and I probably owe a lot to these businesses, because they're the ones that actually put my name into the community for that time. And then I worked myself up on social media to try and sell myself up to my market, which is New Zealand, Australia, and America.
So that market for overseas people coming to Samoa and taking photos, did that sort of, because the 2 years we had the COVID lockdown, that probably put it.
Oh man, that was probably the biggest fall for. And I don't speak for myself. I speak for all my photographer friends in Samoa. Like we were all like thrown under the bus just like that, and especially with the tourism industry, and we kind of fall under that as well, because as we say, Samoa lives off tourism. That's the same as all these other businesses there. You live on these people coming in, like using their money in our country. Not so much. we're still using the money in Samoa, but we need this money coming in terms of, you know, the economy to grow, especially in a small island. But yeah, once COVID hit, man, it was really bad. Like, I was working for Taumesina Resort at that time, and it was beginning of 2020, right? So this is a whole year in front of you that's already been planned out from the year before. You have all these bookings in your pipeline. You're ready to do it. They paid all their deposits and stuff like that. And then COVID hits. So for 2020, I had about 50 weddings already in the pipeline for the rest of the year. And these people pay deposits just to hold the date and stuff. But although I do tell them it's non-refundable, because, you know, in business you need to have security in terms of it's still your time that you're working on. But then it's COVID. Nobody asked for COVID. Like, these couples didn't ask for COVID, so I had to pay all of that back.
Oh, shit.
I was like, you know, I'm gonna pay. The couples that are very lenient, and they'll be like, you know, just pay half of it, that's fine. But then you have the ones that just say, it's okay, it's nobody's fault. And then you have the ones that are like, nah, we want our money back. But then it was a learning curve. It was a learning process for me during COVID. I was like, because I put my deposit so high, because at that time, you know, you got work flowing in front, left, and center. You'll be like, okay, because I need this much deposit, because, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen, if the flight's going to get cancelled or stuff like that. But then after COVID, I was like, nah, I'm just going to bring my deposit down to this, as long as it's something. And then it just makes you think. It was like, oh, if something else hits, you can manage it. Like, you're okay you're financially stable to do all of this business with these people, you know.
Oh, it makes sense to put it back up after COVID. Put the deposit back up.
So my whole idea with coming back here as a photographer, so my aim was to not even work. You know, I was just gonna come and get myself out there. And I'm so thankful. Like, I've only been here 2 months, and people like you have reached out to me, and even this little lodge in Ottawa that has even reached out to me in terms of wedding. You know, it's and that's where all this digital marketing thing comes in play. Is that people just, I'm like, you know, I don't care if people always see my photos online. It's not for you. It's for these people that actually need it. But that's the whole point of it. And then in 2 months' time, like, I'm on your podcast. I've signed a contract with Northridge Country Lodge, you know, to do all their weddings when they want. But yeah, it's kind of going great.
I'm glad. Also, I'm glad. Yeah, it sounds great. It looks great, and it's good to have the way you did everything, like building your name up, building your brand up, and with your skills of the digital marketing stuff, like just putting that in there.
Yeah. And I always like, I'm not the type of person that has knowledge and just keep it to yourself. I always share my knowledge, whatever I know. Like, I don't know everything. Like, something you might know, I don't know, or something I know, you would learn from me. And that's the kind of thing that people, especially people that are in the same business, mostly there's a lot of upcoming photographers in Samoa, and, you know, they talk to me, or they talk to Jordan Kwan is another big one. He was one of my inspirations in terms of becoming a photographer in the islands, as well as Chikara, Yoshida, you know, these big names in the islands. And, you know, you sit there and you look at them, you're like, that's going to be me. I want to be that person. And then you see what they're doing, and you're like, I want to do something different, but I want to be at the same stage that they're. And then you have these little photographers that are trying to start up, and they're looking for advice and stuff. All I say is, like, you know, use your time wisely. Like, and my biggest advice is always use social media to your advantage. That's your biggest help in terms, especially social media is about photos, right? Especially Facebook. And, you know, people love to show off their nice high definition photos, you know, and it's and then I sell it in a way. I'll be like, you know, it's my slogan is making memories, because at the end of the day, you're making memories. Even when I go meet my my wedding couples, I'll be like, I'm not being cocky, but I'm probably the most important person of this day, because after today, after the wedding, everybody else is gonna forget what happened. I have everything to put in front of you that you can share with your family, and they're going to remember it for the rest of their lives, you know, that kind of thing. And they'll be like, yeah, When do you want the payment? But if you do something you love, we hear it all the time. It sounds cliche, but it is what it is. Like, if you do something you love, if you're not working, like, is that what it is? Is that what it is? You won't work a day in your life.
Yeah. If you find something you love, and you won't work a day in your life.
Yeah. Which is true. To me, it's really true. And I think it goes for everybody else. Like, do what you love, do what you want to do. Don't do what someone else wants you to do, because it's just going to be a 9-to-5 job. It'll be like, I don't want to go to work today.
Yeah.
But if you wake up in the morning and be like, it's work day, then you love what you do.
It's funny you said, like, the people that don't remember, or people that forget everyone that's there.
Yeah.
But the photos are there. I remember every time I go to a wedding, like, I always notice the photographer, like, running around, walking around doing the photos, everything.
Yeah.
And then last year, late last year, I was in one of my friends' lines, and so we had the wedding photographer.
Yeah.
But we went to dress up, and they had to take a picture of us getting ready, and then take a picture of the shoes and and the offals and all that kind of stuff. Like I never experienced that kind of thing. I never knew that was a thing. Yeah,
well, it is. It all comes down to that. It all comes down to making sure that the couple gets the memories that they will remember of that day, because it's a big day. You get married, it's a big day. You want to remember it 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, and you not just for you, but for your kids, for your grandkids, stuff like that. Photos it has come a long way, and now that's why I do wedding photography, because it's fun to me. It is fun, and it makes me feel good that your work is in someone's house, keeping their memories alive, kind of thing. So that's what I work off, and I still do portraits, family portraits, and stuff like that, because they all link up, and it comes down to all of that. But yeah, that's what I do.
your style of photography, like. When did you know that was the type of photography you were going to do?
So when so as I said, the likes of Jordan Kwan, kind of Chikara, these wedding photographers in Samoa, you see their stuff being posted online, and it's really eye-catching. These are intimate moments. That's why I said in the beginning, I'm not really into these journalism, because it has their own feeling, but then there's a different feeling that comes from intimate weddings, and you see people tying the knot, and and all their families are there. Yeah. But yeah, I knew that I wanted to do wedding photography from the start, like when I saw all these other. But then anyone can be a wedding photographer, but you have to find your style of shooting to be different from all of these people. And yeah, I try to, how do I explain it? So people think that, especially I've had weddings that people go, why is it so expensive? You're only shooting for like 8 hours. I was like, well, I'm not just shooting for 8 hours. Like 8 hours is probably 20% of what you're paying for. You're paying for 2-3 weeks down the line, which and I work a 9-to-5 job, and I have to go home after work and sit on my laptop and edit all these photos. And it's not just editing; you're finding the right photos to give them, and that gives emotions and all that. Like there's a lot of things that come into play, which people don't know, especially your customers that come in. So it's my job, or any photographer's job, to explain it to them so they can sit well and just go, okay, that's why. Because they're spending money, it's hard-earned money. And you just don't want them to think, they'll be like, he only shot for 8 hours and he's charging 3,000, 4,000. But you have to explain everything else that goes behind it. And you'll be like, you're paying for this, you're paying for my time, you're paying for the equipment that I'm using, you're paying for the people that I hire to help me out, that kind of thing. And once they understand, they'll be good. They'll be like, that's why.
Especially for a wedding, it's not just a photo, eh?
Yeah,
there's the memories.
It is the memories. That's the big thing behind photography. It's the memories. That's the biggest thing. And then you see these photographers that just do it for the money. There are some, which is, it's what they do. But then it doesn't always carry on. Because if you're doing it for the money, then you're just going to get tired down the line. You'll be like, oh, I'm gonna shoot a wedding again. I want the money, but I have to edit it, kind of thing. But meaningful photographers that go out there and do it from the heart, is they're gonna have that. They're gonna have that for the long run, because they love what they're doing.
And I guess that the quality comes out in that.
Yeah.
Whether like you said, you put your heart into it, the quality will come out really good.
Yeah, obviously it has to.
Yeah, it's so how many photos would you take in the 8-hour shift? Like, is it in the thousands or?
Yeah, you're looking at about 2,000 up to 3,000 photos. Yeah,
but to sort that out, man.
Yeah,
damn,
that's a lot of work. Like, you have to go back and sit on your laptop and just go through all these 3,000 and handpick, say, 400 photos that comes in the package that you're gonna give to the couple, and handpick all these 400 photos, and then you're gonna tell a story out of it. Like, you're not just gonna pick and choose. Like, you're going to get 5 photos from getting ready and then get 100 photos from the reception. Like, it's not really adding up, You just have to sit there and make sure you tell a story through your photos and through your work. And once they go through it, they'll be like, oh, yeah, this is what happened this time. Oh, I want to know why I laughed at the reception. Then she sees all her friends that were around them laughing together. And then probably text them and go, hey, I have this photo, but I want to know what I said at that moment that made you laugh, And that's the memories that you want. Which is why it costs a lot.
Because in more than 8 hours is all the hours you spent trying to.
Oh yeah, 8 hours is just part of the 100 and 200 hours that you're going to work on these.
Yeah, the 8 hours is just what you see. That's the hard work after that. So is there any shots that you like thought, damn, this is the money shot right there? Like, how many of those have you had?
Well, to me, a lot. I'm the type of person I know, and I speak for these other photographers as well, because I know it happens to them as well. Every time I shoot a wedding, I shoot, look at it, I'm like, yeah, this is it, and then I keep shooting. But then at the back of my mind, I can't wait for the 8 hours to finish so I can go home and upload it on my laptop and have a look at it, because it makes me excited. Yeah. I'm like, I took that photo. Shit, that looks mean as. It's just giving you a big head, but you're like, oh wow, this is what I do. And if you get that feeling and you go to work and you're like, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this, and you'll be like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. And that's what I mean by the reason why I do photography is because I love it, and not only gives a good feeling for the customer, but it also gives a secure feeling for myself that I know what I'm doing is what I need to do and what I was meant to do.
I guess that's the day, because you feed off the energy of the person you're shooting at the wedding, at the event, which is even more, it's like there's an aura about it, and then with that comes your feeling of, man, this is the best shot. This is a really good shot, and then I can't wait. Man, it's like, I think with you, like, everything about photography you love just comes out in your work, like everything about it.
Yeah. And you know, like, from deep down in your heart that that these photos that you're saying that, this is the money maker, which is exactly why you do what you do. For me, I always need to have that outstanding photo that I need to do within the wedding, and as you said, it's always that's the money maker. Like, that's the photo that they're gonna look at and go, oh yeah, we hired the right guy. Yeah. Every photo is good, but then there's always that 1, 2, 3 photos but then it takes planning as well, way before the day. For me, when I sit down with my clients, I'll be like, you need to tell me what you want, because it's not my wedding. At the end of the day, I'm the photographer, but it's not my wedding. I can shoot it the way I want, but then if I give it to you and you don't like it, then it's all gone to waste.
That's thoughtful.
Yeah, it's something I came up with because, as I said, it's a learning process, and I've learned from sometimes. I've done weddings that people are like, oh, we don't like this edit. Like, we don't really like it. Like, we like the photo, but we don't like how he edited it, like the colors and everything. So then I learned from there. I was like, every time I sit down with a couple, I'll be like, I want you to go. And I always talk straight to the girl, because the guys are only there to like, because it always happens. And it is true, because it's always the girl that wants to look good in the wedding. Some of the guys that come there and goes, I don't really mind. And then
whatever goes.
Yeah. And then I always try to say, okay, like, don't take it don't take it in another way of thinking that I'm only talking to you, to your future wife about all of this, but I know how it goes. Guys are just there to like, look good and just get over the day and get drunk kind of thing. That the girl wants, perfect. It's something that they've dreamt about all their life kind of thing. So you want to give it back to them.
Yeah, but so straight to the girl.
Yeah, I'll be like, after our meeting, I want you to go on Instagram. I want you to go on Pinterest. I want you to go on Facebook. Go on my page, even if it's not my photos, just screenshot what is eye-catching to you and just forward it to me. So when it gets to the day, I know what she likes or the couple likes in general. So I work towards that. And I'll be like, oh, they like long shots. They like faraway shots. And then you get the couples that are like, oh, I'm very, I don't want like, they got breakout on their face or stuff like that. Like something that they're not very comfortable about themselves.
You can Photoshop it out.
Yeah, but I try not to. Like, I also don't do that. Like, I don't really Photoshop my photos. Like, I use Lightroom, which is one of Adobe's. You know what Lightroom is, eh? Yeah. So I can Photoshop it, but then I usually tell them, I'll be like, I've had a wedding that someone told me, oh, my arms look too big. And then I go, these are the things that you're uncomfortable about. People don't really care. Like, because it's you. They see you every day. Like, if I edit it and give you skinny hands, people are going to say, nah, that's fake. Just like that. And that's not what you want. And that's not what my work, and that's not what I want my work to stand for. Like giving, I can do it if I was a fashion photographer. That's fine, which is the plan for the next 5 years. But for a wedding, like you want it to be intimate. You want it to be real. These are the people that, they're going to look at you and they'll be like, oh, it's so nice. Because they're not going to look at your hands. They're not going to be like, oh, she's got fat hands. No, they're just going to say, oh, it's a nice photo. But they're going to remember the memories that they had on that day, on your wedding. So don't worry about that.
With the service you provide, with the consulting them before the time, and then, is there a difference between, I know you worked at the resorts, and because you're familiar with the setting and all that, when you have to go for a setting you're not familiar with, how much research do you go into that? Like,
so I usually, because Samoa is such a small country, you can drive to Kua or whatever. So I when I tell them to give usually couples come with their location, which is good. So if they come with their location, I usually drive out to it prior to the wedding day. Like even on that week, I just go and just look for spots, and I'll be like, because they can give you a location, but it doesn't have a specific spot to actually take good photos. Like it'll look good like from a long angle, but taking actual photos like in this little square that we're trying to do, it's not going to work. So I try and drive out and just, have a scope around and see, okay, we're going to do this here, we're going to do this here, we're going to do this here. And the good thing about that is that you're preparing prior to the day. Because the biggest problem with wedding photography is time. It's always time. Like they're paying for 8 hours, but then you have weddings that start an hour late, but you've already been there for an hour, like when they paid you for. So by the time it gets to reception, they've already lost that hour. And then, they're paying me, they've already paid the 8 hours, and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to leave. But then you have people that are on a budget and then can't afford you to stay again for another hour. But then I'm probably really lenient. It's just a Samoan that comes out of you. Like you leave the business behind and they'll be like, oh, it's just 1 hour. Just stay back for 30 minutes or something, And that's the whole idea that I came with from Samoa to New Zealand. I didn't want to focus so much on the Palangis or the Europeans or any other ethnicity. I wanted to focus on the Polynesians because you need to give, photography is expensive, but you had to give some leniency in terms of, for me, it's better to make money than no money at all. Like, if you're going to ask me to give my 8-hour package and then I give you, and then they're like, oh, it's too expensive, I'm not going to go, okay, bye. I'm a businessman. I'm going to sit there and go, okay, you tell me how much your budget is and we're going to work around that. And then they'll be like, oh, we can only afford this. And I'll be like, okay, give me an hour or two. I'm going to sit here and just rework all this package and see what I can take out and put in to cater for what you're going to give me. And then, it gives them confidence in your business, and they'll be like, oh, he's lenient. He was lenient enough. He was good enough to ask back and say, and work towards what they're offering, and then make money or no money at all. Because if you're going to say goodbye, that's $1,000 gone just like that. But then you also tell them, they'll be like, even though I'm being lenient with you, the quality that I'm going to give you is still not matching the money that you're giving me. But then it's also you as a Pacific Islander, because we all have that connection, right? It's you as a Samoan from a Samoan to a Samoan. I'm working towards what you want, because I want your day to be as magical as you want it to be. And then, let's sign the contract. And that's the thing that some people miss from the business side of things, is that is that they don't have much leniency on their customers, because they've built a company for 20 years and no, what we say goes. This is what we want. And we're not. But you have to go back and forward with people, and just because these are the people that are gonna bring more business into you. It's not just you're taking a wedding for that day. You're taking photos for this couple that would know another couple. They'll be like, oh, he took nice photos of me of our wedding. You should hire him. That kind of thing. So you have to think more down the road than just up the street kind of thing.
Well, when you were talking about that, I was thinking, if I was you, like, I would be thinking, like, man, this is my craft. I need to perfect my craft all the time, always be doing it. So any job will be a job. Yeah. And that if they were struggling to pay the full price or whatever, then we'll work around it. Yeah. Which will probably give my time, like, if it was 8 hours, it might be 4 hours or 6 hours, or just not 3,000 photos, it'll be 1,000 photos. But the best photos.
And that's what I always do. Like, even though they're not paying the full amount that they should pay, I always give them the same work that a person that paid $4,000 for me, I would give that same work to the person that paid $2,000 for the same time that I did the work for. Because at the end of the day, this is your work that's going out to the world. Like, you're not gonna do the perfect one for this guy and then do a shitty job for this guy, because that shitty job's gonna go somewhere on social media, and then people will be like, oh, that's ugly. You don't want that, because at the end of the day, it's their photos, but it's your work. It's your hard work that's going out there.
I find that thing, not just photography, but for any sort of business.
Any business in general.
Even, especially with food stuff, like if you go to food places, like the service is crap, the food is crap, and it's like they don't care. And
it's kind of it pisses me off sometimes with these people that especially you're saying the food business, they get the shittiest service. But then it's right that the customer's not always right sometimes, but then you have to think of your business down the road, like later on. You'll be like, it just takes you 2 seconds to say, I'm sorry, and blah, 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 we're going to fix it. That's it. They're going to come back tomorrow, the next day, the following day. But and then you have these businesses that are big-headed and be like, nah, just blow you off just like that. You have to have some leniency somewhere in terms of customer service and working with your customers, because at the end of the day, these are the people that are putting food on our tables.
Because I know our West, I know I shouldn't be talking about it, but I talk about it a lot, like on other podcasts, like bad service. Like a lot of places do, and I feel kind of sad. Because I've been to the States, and because they tip over there. Their service needs to be top notch and all of that, because they go 100% because of the tip, right? Because we don't have tips. It's like no one cares.
They're just, I'm just here to work and serve your food and go
home and sort of thing. But I reckon, like, if one person like just had meaner service, the best stuff, all the fine details just ticked off, like, I think they'll make a killing here, just to do the extra things.
But then it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. You're hiring people to work under your business or whatever, and then you want them to work up to your standards, but then there is always that one guy, that just comes to work just to come to work, and then it's just that one fly that just kills the whole thing, that kind of thing. But because
in your business, as we're talking about, would you have to need someone else to help, like when the more you get clients?
Obviously I do. And I did it in Samoa as well. usually when we have these meetings, I ask, how many guests are you getting? I've had a wedding that's 400, and I'm only one guy. I run my own business. I do everything. But then I always have some of my friends that help me out. I'll pay them, like, I'll give you $100 for today. You just have to drive me around, or, I'll tell you to go to the car to get something, because I can't miss anything at the wedding. I'm like, I need those photos, but I can't be running back to my car, coming in and going get something from there. So I always have a friend there, one or two of them that always, because they know they're making money out of it. And it was like, it's 8 hours. And we're like, yeah, it's okay. It's just, yeah, I'll buy you a smoke, or, But then I have cousins as well that don't work and stuff like that. I take them along. But then bigger weddings that I would need actual professional photographer to help me out. I do work around and hire all these, like I talk to Jordan Kwan, or I talk to these other guys, and I say, hey, I have a wedding on the 14th, are you free? He goes, I'll pay you this much. How much do you charge for an hour? They'll be like $150 an hour, and I'll be like, I need you for 3 hours. I'll pay you for that, and you just have to help me out. And I'm only paying for their time, because they're not going to edit the photos. They're just going to give it to me. I'm doing the hard work. So I just have to pay for their time. And yeah, it happens. And it's good as well, because you're helping out another friend, another business owner that needs, some money. Or
then you can help, like, vice versa, when the time comes.
Yeah. And that's what I try to tell these new photographers. It's like, you can't do everything by yourself. And, you have to be friendly with everyone, especially everyone that's doing the same business as you, because at the end, there is a time that you'll need their help. And you can't, and if you're going to blow them off most of the time, then it's a big no if you're going to come out. Yeah.
I see the latest thing now is the live streaming.
Oh, yeah.
Weddings now. Weddings and funerals.
I think that started from when COVID hit. All these overseas families weren't able to come down to Samoa for funerals and stuff, for weddings, and then the live streaming started. Because at the end of the day, there are people that couldn't make your big day, or the funeral, stuff like that. They'll want to watch, but yeah, it's becoming a big thing there, and they charge way more than photography. Right. Good for them though. Someone was asking me, you should do live stream. I was like, nah,
it's different.
Yeah, it's way different, and it's just more technical work in terms of a lot of gears that you need to take around, and it's not just one person that does it. You need about 4 or 5 people, and you're not just going to shoot a wedding with one camera. You need like 4 different angles to shoot that from.
It's not like they're taking the photographer away. They still got the photographer there, right?
Yeah.
Have the live stream is just the extra thing.
Yeah. So usually most of us there, we know each other. So when the couples come in for my meeting, I'll be like, who's the videographer? And it's like, oh, it's what's his name? Coconut Motion. It's like, oh yeah. And then I just text him.
Coconut Motion?
Yeah, he's the man. So
is that the name of his company?
Oh, yes, the name of his company. He's the guy that owns, his dad owns Giordano's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's
the pizza shop.
So usually I work with him. Vanu Studios is a new one that's coming up in Samoa. They're pretty good too. But yeah, we all know each other, so we know how to work around each other, especially when we're shooting weddings, because you can't just go in front of someone else's camera. They're trying to get their shot, or they can't come in front of my camera because I'm trying to get a shot. So we usually just, we have our little language that we work around. Like we don't talk, but we just go. Yeah. And it was like, yeah, it's your turn to jump in. or they'll just tap you on the shoulder kind of thing. There's also my friend Tony. He does add-on. So him and I, we've worked a lot of weddings together. So we work really close with each other. Everywhere I go, he goes, and it just saves me from getting bad shots, and it saves, and vice versa for him. We just walk around, and then he taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Oh, can I come forward?" I was like, "Yeah, it's your turn just to go." That's what I mean. You have to be like really friendly with all these people because you're working together in the same business, anyways.
Shucks, man! It sounds like the digital space is coming up in Samoa.
Oh yeah. It is.
Are these Samoans that lived in Samoa and gone out to study and come back and opening their business?
No.
Or these?
So these are Samoans that live in Samoa. They're the same as me. I didn't study photography. It's just something that I do. But then I learned from YouTube. You have everything on your hands right now, like YouTube. I would stay up late at night and watching all these videos on. I didn't even know how to use a Lightroom or Photoshop. People are like, oh, how did you learn how to do Photoshop? It's so hard. I was like, I watched like 2-3 videos. And it's like that because when I started out photography, I was like, oh, I like that shot. I want to know how they did that shot. And then I'll just go on YouTube and then I'll be like, how to edit along. You know, there's all these videos out there that can help you gain the experience that you need to actually do what you want to do. And I always tell people, not just for photography, but for everything else that they want to learn. Like you have the world at your fingers. You have to use it wisely, use it to your advantage, and learn something from it. And then from there, went and did Photoshop, Lightroom, all of that. And then once I applied for all these jobs, they'll be like, "Oh, how did you learn?" I was like, "Yeah, I went on YouTube." And it just shocks some people, like especially the older generation that are in these jobs. They'll be like, "Oh, you didn't." There was one guy, I think it was a finance manager for Samoan Breweries. He was like, my son wants to. Where did you go to study to learn how to do graphics and Photoshop and all of that? I was like, I learned on YouTube. And he's like, really? My son wants to go to Otago. I was like, my biggest advice to you, don't spend all that money for him to go to Otago. You could just learn online. But it takes passion to actually learn it on your own. Some people that just want to learn how to do it, I think it's better to do it in class. But someone that is passionate about what they're doing now would just learn it straight away from watching a video or something because they want to build themselves up kind of thing.
It's interesting to me how the digital space is coming up in Samoa when they're still on data, like people still on data and that. Like you can make it work, with what you have there. Yeah,
especially for the live streaming, because most of the Kua areas, the back areas of Polu, they mostly have connections to Digicel and Vodafone, but then there are areas that are not good enough to run a live stream, because a live stream you can't have any what do you call it? You don't want the live stream to go and get stuck, and then people be like, it's not working. But then you need good connection to do that. So Samoa's there, but not yet there. So I don't know how these live streaming people are doing it, but props to them, man. Props to them.
Because the 2 years of lockdown, what were you doing? Because you couldn't do work. As photography. So
as I said, that I was working for Taumesina, and it's a tourism. It's in the tourism industry. It hit me really bad, and I think it's the same as everybody else that's in the tourism industry. I had to quit my job. I didn't quit. I had to find another job where, and that's how I moved on to Vodafone, because I couldn't keep working at Taumesina. It wasn't getting any guests and everything else. Like, you can open your bar and all of that, and you can open your restaurant from time to time, but the money for tourism is coming from here, for people that come and buy the rooms and stay there. So it wasn't doing good at that time. So I moved on to Vodafone. And prior to moving on to Vodafone, I opened up my little lunch shop.
Oh, yeah?
You had to be, as I said, I'm kind of a go-getter kind of guy. Like, I'm not just going to sit around and, I have loans to pay. I have a car to pay and stuff like that. Like, I'm not just going to sit there and just say, oh, now COVID happened, I can't pay for it. The bank is still going to come and take your car. Like, they don't care. They'll be like, yeah, we'll give you 2 months because of COVID, but you still have to pay your car. So I started a little lunch. I kind of like to cook as well. So when I was in China, it was the biggest shock to my family, because when I was in Samoa, I never go and you'll never find me in the kitchen. But then I left for China, and I was staying in school. But then you're staying by yourself, and I was like, oh, I don't have people to cook for me. So you had to learn, and YouTube was my biggest friend. So I was like, I'm just gonna do this for a few weeks just to get some money, just to get me through these few weeks until I get another job. And then Vodafone called in. I was like, oh yeah, lunch is out of this. So that was the beginning of COVID. And then came into 2021, and then I moved over to Samoan Breweries. But then the other lockdown came in, the recent one, which was I think in the beginning of 2021. 2022, beginning of 2022, and then I started an earring business.
What? Earring?
Yeah, like my friends were like, where's your lunch? Where's your food business? I was like, oh, that was for that time.
Yeah.
I'm working there, but then I still didn't have any. This was when the borders are still closed. And then that lockdown came in, and I was like, 4 weeks, always at the back of my mind. I was like, nah, I need to do something. I started a polymer. It's called it's something I saw on TikTok. I started a polymer clay earring. I don't even know how to make earrings. And I saw it, and then I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And then I went on YouTube, and I was just going through all these videos. And then I came to my mom. I was like, I'm not giving you any money next week, but I'm taking that money to. And she goes, where are you taking the money? I was like, I need to buy some stuff to make earrings. I'm starting an earring business. And she was like, oh, okay, that's good. You can see like they'll be like, it's not gonna work. Then I sat in my room. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna perfect all I have to do this. I went to Ma'adi, the place that sells a lot of stuff. Went to like these clays, you can't find it in the islands. Like it's very rare not much people do it. So I found it in Ma'adi shop. These little clay boxes for kids to do their to play around with. I was like, nah, I'm gonna use that. And then I started my earring business, and digital was the biggest help, because something that nobody has ever done in Samoa was to do a live stream. It's like what do you call it? Infomercials. Like you're selling it online. So I did that. It was bloody new to most of them. Like they know, everyone has live on their Facebook, but they've never seen someone actually use a live stream to sell to do his selling. And I was like, and then I did it the first time, and I said, okay, I'm gonna do it 3 times a week, and then the days in between I'm gonna do stock. I'm just gonna make stock for this day. So I did that. And then I was like, nah, it's too hard work. And then I went on live stream. I was like, okay, we're only doing it for Fridays only, so I can have like 100, because it sold out every single night.
Oh, really? Damn.
That's how good it was going. So I was doing because I didn't have the resources, because it's limited in the islands, I got my sisters here to buy a lot of stuff and send it over. And then I was working off these, whatever I had, and then improvising all these earrings, these little styles. I was like, yeah, so we have a little, you have to put on that hat, your business hat. It'll be like on live. Yeah, we have this little green, and then people. So I did it like, okay, first one to say sold. Like the first name I see on the list, the comments to say sold, you get it. Like that's yours, and then I write the name down, and then the next day I'll go on delivery during working hours. But yeah, that business boomed. Like it for the 4 weeks that I did it, I've probably made nearly $6,000.
Oh wow! You know what? Yeah, you talking about that, it made me think about Samoa anyway. Samoa's a place where. Yeah. They go for the trends, right? Or go for the new thing. Like if a new business open up, everyone's gonna go to.
They're gonna go
and spend money until they're bored on the new business. And then I find that other businesses copy.
Yeah.
And come up, and then next minute it's gonna be dead because
it happened. It happened to me. Like I've only done it for 4 weeks, and then suddenly I see someone else post stuff
doing it.
But then I was like, yeah, but the big difference is you don't have a live stream. Like, you have to be. But then I went on this little website. I was like, oh no, my life looks it looks cheap and stuff. I was like, I need to bring it up a little. And then I went on this website that does like live stream things that you pay for a monthly subscription. And I was like, my sis, can you pay for this? It's like, oh, is it for the business? It's like, yeah, it's for the business. She paid for she paid for that month. And then the next one that I did, you had like 2 screens. I had my phone on this, and so I was using my laptop camera I was using my laptop camera, and I was using my actual phone as another angle. I went to work the next day, and my manager was like, I loved your live last night. Where did you get all your cameras? And then I was like, it's my laptop camera and my phone camera. I was like, oh, how did you do that? So I was using the phone camera facing down like this, and then the camera, because there were 2 boxes, and then the camera that's facing me from the laptop was the one that I was talking to. Yeah. And then the camera that's facing down, I had this white paper that I just put the earring in. It's like a little display. But yeah, that's what I mean. You just have to hustle sometimes. And then there was a time when people just like, it's just that mentality that all of us have. Like you get ma sometimes. be like, oh, people are talking about me, like blah blah blah. But then I'm very hard-headed as well as I am. Like people, they see me as a hard-headed person, but I'm also a soft person sometimes. But then I was like, well, stuff them. They're not going to come and pay my bills. They're not going to pay my bills. I'll pay my own bills. And then after COVID, and then when the borders opened up, and then everyone was like, are you still doing your earrings? I was like, nah, I only did that to pay my loans. Like, it's funny to them. They'd be like, but it was good. I wanted to buy your earrings. And then prior to coming to New Zealand, I was like, I don't have a job. I don't have any. I only had pocket money that I came with me. Pocket money that I came with me. I went to all the shops and bought earring stuff. Made all these earrings. I was sitting at my first 2 weeks here. I was sitting at Papatoe night markets selling my earrings to make some money. I think it's just a habit, and not many people have it. But
just gonna do what you gotta do.
Yeah, people need to do it. Like, don't just sit around on your ass doing nothing because money's not gonna come to you. You have to find it.
$6,000 a week. That's good.
I was good. But then it was just too time consuming doing it on my own.
Yeah.
And then I'm that kind of person that I don't trust people to come and touch my stuff, because my mom was like, teach me and my husband, my stepdad. And then she was like, teach me and my husband so you can go to work and then you'll come back and it's all ready. Yeah. I was like, nah. and then it got to that part where it was really hard for me to juggle work and do that as well. So every day after work, I'll come home and just lay it out, bake it, and then just sit it there. And then I'll get my mum and her husband to like pin it all up, because that's the hard bit, is pinning it. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put it on the table as the picture, as like what it's supposed to look like, and then you'll work off that. So you pin it the way it looks like. But I'll pay you.
You know, all those people that at the markets in Samoa, like selling all their stuff. Is it like? Are you saying like if they were to do lives themselves, they would have got more customers? Yeah. That was the difference between you and everyone else. Huh?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing about me is I have the background, but there was one time that I was sitting back and I was like, what other business can I do that can support the community? And then prior to coming here, I was thinking of opening up a digital marketing company that focuses only on small businesses, like not so much these bigger companies that can hire someone from overseas to do it for them. That's fine. But then you have these small businesses that need help in terms of marketing their own products online, because everyone has Facebook now. The only thing that they need is someone to push them and teach them how to use it in a way for them to make money out of it, not just fighting back and forth online and calling each other names, and that's time wasted, and it's time that you can use to do something more productive.
That's a good idea, and you can get some funding for that.
Oh yeah,
for that idea, because there's stuff in New Zealand called what's it called, social enterprise. Social enterprise, and what was the other one? Social enterprise and something else, but it's got to do with helping the community. Yeah. So the government will sponsor organizations that start a business that will help the community. Like there's a lot around. Like there's one company and there's one organization in Armidale that do videography and podcasting and music. They all got funded just to have a studio in Armidale, and what they do is they get the kids to come and they teach them those skills and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there's a few things out there.
Yeah, as I said, like I was brought up here. I went to school here, but then I've been away for too long. I've been coming back and forth, but the problem was for when I came back to stay on December, a lot has changed. A lot has changed. I brought one of my friends with me because he wanted to come. It's like, I'll come with you. I want to kafao, and then I'll go back. I was like, yeah. And this was me being all be like, yeah, I'm from New Zealand. I know everywhere I can go. Like when I drive, I know everywhere I'm going. But then the local transport. There was one day I was like, let's go on the train from Puhinui to Britomart. I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. got there, you're not allowed to use cash anymore
Oh.
to buy tickets, apparently. Because we got there, the train station was closed. They were fixing it, and they were like, oh, they're using buses to go on the routes. And I was like, oh, yeah, let's go catch the bus then. So this was me jumping, and it was a packed as bus, and then I was jumping out of my $10. I was like, oh, yeah, 2 to Brigham up, please. And then the driver goes, oh, we don't use cash on the bus anymore.
Just cards.
I was ashamed, man, because this is my friend, and I was like, yeah, I'm the guy from New Zealand. And then I was looking at the back of the bus, everyone was looking at us. I was like, just go down. And then I think the driver's Tongan or something, he was like, it's okay, go sit at the back.
Yeah.
So we went to town, and then we were just going around showing him to the Sky Tower and all of that. And then we came back to the bus depot, and he's like, so how are we going to go now? What if we go on the bus and it's not a Samoan? It's not a Samoan bus driver. So I had to call my sister to pick me up.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's what I mean. Like, a lot has changed in New Zealand. But changed for the good, though.
Yeah.
A lot of new roads as well.
So what was your plan then? Like, you made a decision to come start your business here in New Zealand. You brought your earrings.
Yeah. Oh no, the earrings is just a side job. Like if this doesn't work out, I'll be like, yeah, I'll just live off my earrings from week to week.
Did you have any? Obviously, a lot of clients in New Zealand, in Auckland.
Yeah.
When you came, so were you marketing yourself like that way, or were you just putting it out there on social media
for the photography?
Yeah, to transition from Samoa to New Zealand.
Yeah. So I went through my analytics for my business page, and just to see how many followers do I have from New Zealand alone. And I think I have, because my following now on Facebook is about 7,000 something. From that 7,000, about 3,000 are from New Zealand followers. So I try to work off that. And then not only I try to market it, I was trying to get people to see that I'm in New Zealand now, because I still get messages that they think I'm still in Samoa. So I try to change it around. Like, I try to post stuff every day or like every week. Like, since I've started weddings with the place here in Ottawa, I just put stuff up, and then it's just, you want the biggest thing in marketing is that you want your business to be top of mind. You have to give top of mind awareness. So every time people think about photography, your name will come up. So that's why I try to utilize my social media platforms, especially on TikTok. TikTok is probably the biggest one now. I got 2 clients out of 1 video last week, which is good. And then people think that, I just do all these funny stuff online. Like, I know I'm not a funny guy, but I still try and post something. It's just to try to build that following. But not only that, once I get the following that I'm after, then I'll start promoting the business. But I still do the business videos in between all those other ones, just to get the customers to come in. But yeah, that's my biggest thing now, is trying to advertise the business to people to know that I'm here in New Zealand. Once I have that, and then I can work forward to all the other things.
Was Australia an option as well at the time?
Australia is an option now. But the biggest thing for Australia is that I don't know my way around. But I know it's bigger money there. But then I limited it down to the Pacific community. And I try to see it in a way that, okay, I'm going to go to New Zealand to be a photographer. What's my market? Like, I can say everyone's my market, but that's a big scope. You have to narrow it down to something, because at the end of the day, as I said, you're still making money, but I narrowed it down to the Pacific community. And that way, it's better to me. I can get more connection with the people that are coming in, because they are Pacific Islanders. And how good it is that you come... the day of your wedding, another Pacific Islander is photographing you. How does that make you feel? That's the kind of, you have to bring the emotional side of the business in as well. Not so, like, you can do the technical side as much as you can, but you have to have an emotional side to the business. And that's where they latch onto. They'll be like, oh, he's Samoan. Yeah, I want him, because you want them to interact with you. You want you and your clients have an emotional connection. So that's why I narrowed it down to Pacific. They'll be like, oh, yeah. Are you Tongan? Yeah, I'm Tongan. I'm Samoan. Be like, oh, cool. I'll be like, so what do you want? Like, you understand your people more, and you're like, you understand the Polynesians more because you are a Polynesian, right? And it's easier for you to work with them. So that's my view on how I want to run my business here. Doesn't mean that Balangi couple comes up and wants me to photograph the wedding. I can do it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm mainly focusing on our Pacific community at the moment in terms of photography and what they need.
Yeah. Have you had any jobs already?
Yeah.
Any weddings already?
I've just had a first wedding last Saturday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As I said, I've already did the contract that we signed with Northridge. So every wedding that they do, unless the couples come with their own photographer, then then I don't shoot it. But an average, so even when they just started talking to me about it, I was like, okay, first things first, what's your average number of weddings do you do a year? Once they said 80, I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm in. Like, if you're doing 80 weddings, and then I had to do the maths, and I was like, if they're doing 80 weddings a year, and then I can get about 50 of those weddings and charge them at about $2,000 per wedding, I'll be making like shitloads of money. So yeah, I had to, before I even signed, I was like, I can make a living out of this. So yeah, and then I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So yeah, my first wedding with them was last Saturday, which was a little intimate, but it was a small wedding. It was like 20 people. But then going to our Pacific people, you're looking at about 400 people, 300 people per wedding, right?
Yeah.
And if I go for the small intimate weddings, that would only pay me half of that. And then compare it to Pacific Island weddings that can do these big lavish weddings, they can pay me more than a little. You have to be. I have to add it up that way. It's just how my mind works. That's the whole idea behind it.
It was great you're talking about how you were working out your numbers. You had 7,000 followers and 3,000 of them were in New Zealand. You were working that out and doing the numbers. I remember a long time ago, me and my boss were talking, and I think the question came up on like how our company is doing in terms of getting clients and that.
Yeah.
And he said something interesting. He said, New Zealand's just a small market. Ooh. We can never do anything big in like America and UK, and there's just so many people there. New Zealand's just a small market, and that just stuck with me for ages. And I remember talking to a friend of mine just recently because he started a business where he started a fit club, like a exercise club. And he was, man, I want to get like all these like thousands of members, and I'm gonna make heaps of money and that. Yeah. Wait, hang on. How many? Who are you gonna do your fit club to, your fitness to? And he said, all the Pacific Islanders. There's heaps in Auckland. Yeah. But where are you? In Henderson. Okay. How many Pacific Islanders in Henderson? Are you saying like you're gonna get the people from South Auckland? Everyone? Nah.
It's gotta be hard.
Yeah, and then you crunch down the numbers. You crunch it down, and it gets smaller and smaller. Yeah. And then it's like, where's you gonna get your $1 million from?
Exactly. Like it's hard running a business. There's a lot of things that goes into spectrum.
Especially when it comes to numbers, it's an interesting exercise when you think of what your market is. I think of any kind of business venture, right?
Yeah, any business. You have to know your numbers. You have to know your people. You have to know your market. You can have the best product in the world, any kind of product, but if you don't know your customers, you don't know what market you're selling it to, then it's just a waste of time. Like, I think that's why people and companies spend a lot of money on marketing, because it's getting their name out there. They try to get their name out there, and people are fighting for spots. And you're not the only business in the world, right? Yeah. And that's the biggest thing that happens in digital marketing as well, with what we call on their Google ads. So there's this thing, how you go on your phone and then an ad pops up. So it goes through this thing called Google ads. And it's also technical because you're fighting with all these other businesses, and you're betting online. You're paying money for it, but then you're betting for spots on people that. So, for instance, I like photography, and the algorithm reads that, okay, he likes photography. Pop in that photography ad from that company, kind of thing. It works technically, but people are spending a lot of money there. on these Google ads just to find spots in order for their business to come up and their name to be shown to people. But yeah, then as you said, it comes down to that. You have to, like, if you stay in Henderson and you want to market to Papatoe or Manukau, people are going to spend, they'll be like, I'm not going to drive all the way out there just for an hour of fitness. I can go to Snap or wherever.
Exactly. So I always think about like how I try to bypass New Zealand anyway. Yeah. Because I know New Zealand's got limited numbers. Like, what, 4 million people live in New Zealand? Really? If you're, or something? I think it's 4 million.
Okay.
4 million, I think.
Yeah.
How many of them are Pacific Islanders? And then the numbers goes down. Yeah. How many Pacific Islanders live in Auckland? Yeah. Numbers go down again. Yeah. How many, if you live in South Auckland, there's the majority. Yeah. Live in East Auckland, North, the numbers go down, way down. So it's like, okay, what are you selling? Can it be sold online? Yeah. Can you reach more people online? You can, because it's like, can you do a delivery? Can you send it by post? It's that kind of thing. It's like trying to get out there, but trying to break the numbers barrier, I think. Yeah, not only the numbers barrier, but people need to break out of the old school business mentality. Break out of the, these typical, not typical, but, things like newspaper ads or, flyers. It's just a waste. Jump online. Like, my advice to all businesses, just if you're not online, you're just way behind the game. Way behind. Jump on TikTok, eh?
Huh?
TikTok will be
Jump on TikTok.
How come that's blowing up, eh? Because there's been some bad press with it on America. America's trying to shut it down, eh? Like, they don't like the idea that China owns it.
Oh, well, that's the political side of it, but to me it helps. Like, it helps a lot if you're running a business. Like, you want to, as you said it before, like, you have to jump on the trend, and the trend now is TikTok. If you're not on there, you're a step behind everybody else. And it's not just knowing how to use TikTok. It's finding that, as I said, finding that niche. What are you going to show people? Like, you can't just go, oh, this is my product. This is what it does. You have to find ideas around it to make it more exciting for people. And like, and then when I go home, I'll be like, oh, I need a toothpaste. Oh, yeah, Cam has one. I saw it on TikTok. Like, that's kind of thing. Because what we did for Vodafone when I worked there, I was in the brand and communications team, and I specifically look after digital marketing. So every ad that I want to do online to sell the company and to get views and get, I work with videographers on that, and I do the scripts. I write it down. I write down the idea. This is how I want it to do. This is the location I want it to do at. Remember, you're selling data, but you're selling it in Samoa. You're trying to, your market is the locals. What is the biggest thing that Samoans like online? They love to laugh. Don't just go on and do a video of like, really boring, because they're just gonna 2 seconds skip. And it was hard because our boss at that time was an Indian. So he's from India. He's from millions of people. We had to, it was really hard for us to change the mindset of someone that's from a bigger country, way bigger country than Samoa, and what it is. And he said, okay, in India, it's very easy to, we do like these videos, and then he shows us the videos in the meeting. He'll be like, yeah, turn it on. Our CEO will put it on the screen and be like sitting back, and we're like, this dog is just running through the field, and suddenly it gets to this guy. It's very emotional, and then he's like, I want all the Vodafone videos to be like that. And then we were like, this is Samoa. People don't like that. People are like, they don't even kiss and tell. They don't even hold hands. How do you think they're gonna watch? Yeah. Like, and then it took some time to actually sell that to him. But once we jumped on it, and he said that, okay, on these funny things, like these little ad-libs that people do, seki, those words, and there's all these different lingos every time that comes up in Samoa. Like, they even call your face a box now in Samoa, that kind of thing. So you want those things that relate to people to be on those ads, or be on your screen, or be on your TikTok video, be on your Facebook. Even the wording that you do, like, you can word it in a way that relates to people, and it'll be like, yeah, it relates to me because, I know that word. I know that happened. I heard that last week. And then once you put up that ad or something, they're going to remember it for the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks, but then you have to refresh it every 3 months to make sure that your business is on top of all these people's minds. They'll be like, okay, next week is my sister's wedding. Who's a photographer? And like, oh yeah, Nicholai's one. I'll call him. Like that kind of thing. And that's what I try to do. Like every time I post something, I'll be like, just message me through, white light photography. Always mention your company name or your business name, because you want them to remember that. And that's where you get your clientele from.
Fun. It's like, if you're working on social media and that for these companies, like, have you ever thought about what will happen, the differences if you work for mainstream media, like TV, radio? Because that's a different kettle of fish, eh? It's like they don't really need social media to get out there.
No.
But so to me, it's sort of like social media versus mainstream media, like social for everybody to use.
Yeah.
That like and even YouTube, like TikTok, like these are platforms where the public is just recycling themselves, on. And mainstream media is like, oh yeah, it's just there.
Yeah.
Are the kids probably not interested in?
We're not putting aside traditional media like TV, radio, and all of that. They're helpful in a way, but they're not as big as social media, because at the day and age we're at, we all have our phones in our hand. Like, and the majority of people are either scrolling through Facebook, messaging their friends on Messenger, or just doing video calls and stuff like that. Like, yes, we watch the news and everything on TV, but the demographic that does is more limited now, because it's probably just our elders that sit at home, like that don't go to work, that are watching TV. So we can still put ads out there, or sell the company on these TV medias, but you can probably spend as much as you used to here over here, where it's more convenient and more, and you get more out from social. From my point of view,
because you get the younger crowd.
You get
more younger.
Yes,
crowd.
and these are the people, and not only the younger crowd, but right now you can have a 15-year-old up until a 40 to 45-year-old that are on their phone, even 50-year-olds. Like, I've seen people on TikTok that are older than my mom's doing videos, because it's trend, and people latch onto it because it's fun and it's something they want to do. Like, but yeah, we've all sat back and watched TV back in the days when we didn't have phones. It was fun, but for a limited time. Like, I would watch TV 2-3 hours a day if it's a good program that's on. But then right now, the age that I'm in, I'm probably at home scrolling through my phone 2 to 3 hours a night. And that's night only, not counting the daytime. And altogether, you're like 6 hours on your phone every day.
And I guess for someone with a profession like yours, like if you were ever to work for mainstream media, you would be the guy to try to take them into the social media world.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we want to put our hands in there.
Yeah, not only, and I'm sure you've seen it around. Like,
it's happening though.
Yeah, TV One's on everywhere. Like, they're even on TikTok. But they do, as I said, like, for your podcast where you're doing videos, like, you take that little snippet of something important, just put it on social media, and people would just go, oh, yeah, like that. And that's what these mainstream medias are doing too. Like, is it My FM? I love watching their TikToks because it's exciting, and they're only taking that little part. Okay, he said something really funny today. We need to put that on, and then everybody else that's watching it will laugh along with you and just tap that screen.
Radio has really embraced it because they're just radio. You don't hear them.
Yeah.
But there's the chance to actually put a face to the voice,
exactly.
and putting all these video stuff. So it's been good for radio. But in your experience, where do you see the future of social media going? Like with what you're doing with your profession, working with analytics, social media, and marketing. 10 years time, where do you think we'll be? Where are we heading to?
I think I think we're heading in the right direction now. But probably in 10 years time, it'll be times 20 better than it is now. Look how we went from 2005 to 2010, 2020 in terms of cell phones. It was only 20 years, and we're walking around with cell phones that talk to us. You can just lay down in your bed, hey Siri, wake me up at 5 a.m. My sisters laugh at me because Siri just, like, late at night, we're just sitting on the dinner table, we're like, Siri, wake me up at 5 a.m. that kind of thing. Imagine 20 years time, Siri's probably has a body or something, your own personal guide or something. But yeah, technology changes every day. And I think in 10 years time, it's going to be much more faster, much more relevant, and much more, helpful to us as a community. And I think these mainstream medias will catch on to it. And, I think they are now. They're already on it, like websites, videos on online and the internet, because that's the biggest thing we have now.
With TikTok I think TikTok really talks to the short attention spans of people these days, eh? Like they want the quick, the quick swipes and all that.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be even quicker in 10 years? Like we won't, we'll just be like,
somebody's going to come up with something to make it better than TikTok. We started with Facebook. Facebook's been around for nearly 20 something years now, and it's still on. And then you have Instagram come in, you have TikTok come in, but then they're all social media platforms, but they're all different in their own ways. They all target different people in different ways. TikTok does videos, Instagram focuses on photos, Facebook focuses on breaking up relationships and stuff like that. No, but then it's, in 10 years time, I think there will be something different. I think probably in the next year, something different will come up, and then people will jump on it just like that. But then it's just up to them to maintain it in terms of changing their what they're selling to the customers.
Because TikTok has been huge. It's been huge in terms of the short attention span thing, because it's made people, these content creators, rethink of how to put stuff up,
how to sell their
stuff.
product.
Now it's like you can't like the old days, like you can't do one video, 3-minute video.
When I was with Vodafone, that's when stories came out.
Yeah,
that's when stories just started to be a thing, and on Facebook. And then I'm over here trying to figure out how to sell this data bundle to Samoa through a video ad on a normal Facebook post. Now they have stories. So you're looking at trying to fit all of this information into 5 seconds and a 5-second story that someone can swipe and just go, oh yeah, it's $10. That's it. Which is, it's I don't know. It's you know how I'm saying it changes all the time, and then it's just up to us to keep up with it. And if you don't keep up with it, then you're way behind the game, as I said.
I'm going back to photography.
Yeah.
Like what I've noticed, because I'm really impressed by photographers there, like, well, and what they capture. Because I don't even have that skill. Like, you know, they say, "Oh, you've got a good eye." Yeah. You have a good eye. You should be a photographer. Like, man.
I usually make a joke out of that because most people say that to me. They're like, you have a good eye. And I was like, I have 2 eyes. Which one are you talking about? But no,
But that's to me, that's like you're born with that. Like, I don't think it's taught. It might be taught, but man, I can't make a good photo. The photos I've seen, like professional ones, I'm just, goddamn, like, man, how'd you know to take that? This is just a natural thing, is it?
It's just like you being an artist, like a painter. Like, you know, it's in your mind. This is what I want. This is what I want it to look like. And then when they paint it, it stands out. And that's talent. That's, you know, God-given talent. Because, you know, we can picture everything in our minds. Like anyone can picture, but you can't put it on you know, you can't. Not everyone can paint. It's the same as a photographer. Like, I have wild imaginations in my head that I want to bring out in a way. Maybe I don't know how to paint, but I can probably take a photo that can paint it out for me, you know, that way. It's just different aspects of how you can bring to life what's in your head. Same goes for music. Same goes for dancing. You know, you bring out your inner self in something like this, and that's you know, your own artistry. For me, before I even got a camera to do photography, I think I've done millions of scenarios of how I want my photo shoots to go. and that's honestly speaking, like I've there's times I just sit back and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. Like I want a photo shoot on top of a tree or something like that. And then that's the kind of the thing to answer your question is it's just it's bringing your own imaginations to life. And it takes skill, it takes talent, and it takes time. Not only anyone can hold a camera. but you need to have an actual eye and an imagination on how to use that camera to bring out your inner self or your inner ideas that you have.
I appreciate the art form because I'm a guy that I love movies. I really love movies, and I love the different angles, the different shots.
Yeah.
Different shots they make in movies of the different scenes in there. Yeah. I know it's moving pictures, but I think a camera shot does the same thing.
Yeah. So I was thinking of, so you're asking me about live streaming. Like, I'll never do that because I don't have a passion for it, or I'm not good at it. But I've always been interested in the movie thing as well. Yeah. Like, not only I can take photos, still photos, and bring a feeling. But imagine taking a video and bringing that feeling that you go to a movie and just sit there and go. Because as I grew up, I'll be like, we went to movies when we were young. We were like, oh yeah, they're fighting. But when you sit back now and just look at how they move these cameras to actually bring out that feeling on that moment, it's just, you can't just do that out of a paper or something. You have to have the mind for it. Be like, oh yeah, we have to shoot the camera this way. So,
And it's amazing how they create those shots because sometimes you don't even think how much work goes into it.
Yeah. Did you watch Rihanna?
Yeah, on Super Bowl.
Yeah. Did you see how the camera moved?
Like with...
if you go and watch it again, you know how people are saying, oh, those dance moves weren't that big. The camera was probably the main thing that helped all that out in terms of bringing that
the close-ups and all that.
Yeah, and how it moved and everything. But that's the kind of thing you're talking about, right?
Yeah, but especially in scenes where like the camera's in the odd places. Yeah. Like when I watch some films, I can tell the camera's in the odd place. Yeah. And like, because you can imagine the big fat camera placed somewhere, and all we see is the moving shot, right?
Yeah.
But we're not thinking about what it takes to put the camera.
Yeah.
And some of these shots are in odd places.
Yeah.
Like when I think there's a scene in The Shining where Jack Nicholson's trying to open the door.
Yeah.
But a normal shot would be a shot like this over the shoulder, looking at his hand. But no, the shot was
from
the floor up. And he was opening the door like that.
Yeah.
There's that kind of stuff. There's little things,
I think it's just them changing people's perspective on what they see in terms of, and as I said, it brings out the emotion of like, you're the person that's looking up, even though it's a bad place to put it.
yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, oh my gosh, there's a different shot for that scene. But it's just those little things, little things I find cool. Like, I don't know if you watched Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
But that program, the director's got a knack for putting the camera in the odd place.
Oh yeah.
All like these heaps of shots.
So that's his style.
That's his style. Like, but you don't think of it.
Yeah.
But if you know that, you go in looking at these shots and fuck, how did you put the camera up there? There's one shot where this guy is in the car, right, and he's lying across the passenger and the driver's seat, but the camera's from up top.
Yeah.
But the camera's real high. Yeah. It's not even on the ceiling because it's like
it's just above them.
It's high, so there must be no ceiling.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Because it doesn't look like it's like where the ceiling is. Otherwise, it'll be Yeah.
It's just a different lens angles. More, it is.
But it's for me.
But from your perspective,
for me, it's you actually cut off the roof and put a crane and put for that shot.
Yeah.
Like the work they do to make these shots happen. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's most of these movies and when they do the award stuff, you think, oh, why did they win? And then you watch it and you'd be like, oh, man, like like that's technical, like scientist kind of thing.
Drones is a big tool now these days.
Yeah, it is.
Do you use those as well?
Never used a drone. I've never used a drone. I'm looking at it, but it's not something that I need. But I tend to have the customers that do ask about drone shots because they want these angles, these different angles. They want to get a shot of their marquee or whatever if they're outside, or they want to take a big group shot from the top, which is you can, but then I would need more workers to actually do that on my behalf. But I usually just say, oh, you know what, I'm just a normal photographer. Like I can take photos, still photos, but I don't have a drone. And they'll understand. Like I lose out of business out of sometimes, but then that's just a small part of it, which I do think I should have. And then I'll have to work around on how to do it. You'll be like, I'll probably have the drone tied to my... to be like, yeah, I got a drone. But yeah, videography is a big thing I want to get into soon.
Yeah, so how you going to start that? Are you going to just learn off YouTube again? And
YouTube. No. Like I said, I've already built up scenarios in my head. So I just need the equipment to do it.
Work.
Yeah, I've got the camera. I've got the camera to do it. That's the biggest thing you need. But then there's all these little gadgets behind there that keep the camera still, kind of thing. And yeah, so hopefully soon, because I wanted to get into advertisement, not so much wedding. Videography, but I love advertising, especially product.
Oh man, have you seen the making of those ones?
Yeah.
Man, I saw the one about the sandwich.
Yeah.
Did you see the Subway?
Yeah,
and the wires.
Yeah, and then they cut it up and it just falls.
Yeah, it falls down and the camera's right there.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Wow, those are amazing, eh?
Like, I could just do it in my garage.
I mean, a table like this, eh? And you can have the product and try find the shot. Like even those you know when you photography, you got the back, the white sheet, the back, but they've got this a small one for the product there.
And then it just looks like it's from like they're taking it in a big ass room.
And then the zoom and
so that's what I'm looking towards. Weddings, I love taking weddings, but it's very
time
consuming, and not only that, but
physical work.
Too physical work, but too much emotion, isn't it? Because it's an intimate time in someone's life, and I've had.
Does that stress you out, like when you in the editing process?
Oh, not so much the editing. It's the what stresses me out the most is the family, because I've had some clients that have been really rude, as to say, but it's people that don't understand what you're doing, even though you've explained to them and put it in bullet points on this is how it's gonna go, but then there's always that person that comes back to you and says, I don't like it.
I know what you mean.
I want my money back.
I know what you mean.
I'm the kind of person like I can put up a fight. I will type everything down and just send. But I'm also the kind of person that just goes, I'm just gonna spend 3 hours typing something out to send to someone. It's just gonna be a back and forth. Why don't you just say, just give it? Because like I know what I did is good. Like, hey, I did the work. You paid for the work. And then I'll be like, I'm just gonna pay it back to you. Like, I'll just say, I'm not gonna pay you the full money back. I'm gonna give you a portion of it. Yeah. But it doesn't mean I'm not gonna like come out and say, oh, you're wrong and I'm right, or I'm right and you're wrong. All of that. But yeah,
we get that. We get that with architecture, especially with residential homes. Yeah. Because that's intimate.
Yeah, it's their house.
It's their house. So. They hire architects to do the design for them. They
want it a specific way.
Yeah, but they have to trust your skills in delivering something that makes sense to what they want, right? Yeah. And then you get the old. It's usually the wives. Yeah. They say, nah, I didn't want this. I didn't want this. But then all the evidence is in the room. Like, yes, you said you wanted this. Yep, you wanted that. No, I didn't know that was gonna look like that. But then, not like you said. Yeah. Sorry.
It's always good to sit down and have it in paper, right? Like, this is what we've talked about. This is you have to sign it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it's always.
Because it'll come back. Yeah. It'll come back.
And yeah, it bit me in the ass a lot of the times. Because I don't like having all these agreements and all these terms and conditions, and it's like, yeah, are you good? Yeah, you're good. So there was one wedding there. We were like, okay, straight after church, we're going to do the family photos. Like, that's usually the time I do family photos. It was like, because everyone's there, we'll just do it there. But it was a big wedding. It was 400 guests. And then straight after church, everyone just comes and just hugs. And then, I didn't have time. And I was like, oh, should we go to the front? And then we're like, oh, no, it's okay. We'll just do it here. So I just took the family photos there. I was like, are you sure? And he goes, yeah, just do it here. Because everyone's just jumping in. It's like, okay. that was what they used against me later on. They were like, didn't we talk about taking our photos in front of the church? I was like, yeah, but we spoke about it that day and you said just take it there. And then she goes, well, you're the professional. You should have just held my hand. It pisses you off sometimes. Like it just pisses you off. It's like some people just have out of this world excuses of way, but they just want their money back. Damn. But yeah, it's experience that you learn from, and moving forward, it doesn't happen again.
You probably have to be more like that, like have a written down now since you're in New Zealand.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Get it done properly and all that.
Samoa's Samoa.
Yeah.
Like,
handshake deal.
Yeah. New Zealand's a whole different ball game. It's like now we're taking you to court, like that kind of thing, because they're not that Samoa's advanced, but not advanced, but Samoa's how do you say it in Samoan? Like you to me, me to you, like, you know, we're both Samoans, you know. If it happens, it happens. But in New Zealand, nah. We're taking you to court next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking to get like these paperwork all together, and it's something we need. Any business needs it.
So what kind of camera do you use? What's the model?
I'm a Nikon guy. I shot with Canon before, but Nikon, I think it's because I've been shooting with Nikon for the past 3-4 years. I don't want to change it because to me I like the lenses though.
Yeah.
And it's more convenient for me to change it around. I can use a Sigma or a Tamron or all these other lenses. But I just like it. It's a bit lighter to me. But then I see these new Z cameras, that mirrorless ones.
What's that?
So you know how you take the photo and then you hear that flick in the front? So that's a mirror. So it's using it to capture the image from outside to inside. But now it doesn't have that. Like when you click it, you don't hear that click sound. So they call it a mirrorless. I've never tried it, but apparently one of my friends has it. They're like, yeah, I just went back to my old camera. But I think it's because it's more expensive. It's expensive and the lenses are expensive as well. So I don't think.
So the main point of that is it's just quiet.
Yeah, it's just quiet and lighter.
Right.
So it's more lighter. But, I mean, the camera is a camera. And what I learned in photography is it's not what kind of camera you have. It's how you shoot.
It's your eye.
Yeah, exactly. It's.
But you got two.
I have two, and I used both of them to my advantage. But yeah, if anyone's out there that wants to do photography, man, go ahead and do it. Do it. The biggest thing you're gonna get is a no. That's it. Nobody's gonna hurt you. But then you work your way up, and main thing is, you know, study. Go to YouTube University. Free entrance.
Keep on practicing there.
Keep on practicing. But then you can take a good photo, but you have to. There's a lot of work that goes into editing because you might have a little thing like spot in it that you need to take off. You need these programs to use that. So if you don't have that background with these programs, it's just going to be a normal photo that stands out like that. Which it's good when you look at it, but then from an eye of a professional, it's not going to look as good as it should be.
Did you ever work in those photograph rooms with the red infrared and put the thing in the water like in the movies?
That was your time.
I thought that was cool. That was like, we don't see that in the movies, right?
Yeah.
And we had photography at our high school, and it was that we had the room that in our school. Yeah. I was thinking, man, but it was like $100 extra.
Oh, really?
To take it. So only the Balang kids took it.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
because they give you a camera as well.
Yeah,
during that
something
time.
like that. Yeah, and you go in I forgot what the room is called. What's the room
It's
called?
a red room.
Red room and that. I always thought, man.
No, they had it back in my time as well when I was in Rush School.
Yeah.
They did that. This was way before DSLRs, like the cameras that we have now. But yeah, it's like those Kodak cameras, and then you just, I think that's what they used. But yeah, I don't have any experience at that time. But it's really interesting to look at, right? And how they do it.
Well, it was interesting because it was in the movies, and I was like, man, damn, that's a cool job.
Yeah.
Like go in that cool room. That's a cool room. Do the water, play with the water.
But now it's all on computers.
Charles, man. Been good. Wow. So you just gonna wait till they call up that hotel?
Oh no. I still take bookings on the side.
Oh. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just working hard on bringing it up. I was telling my sister. So one of my sisters, the one that dropped me off. So she's like my go-to guy now. She's my driver. She takes me to place because I don't have a car. I was like, "You're my driver. I'll pay you."
Oh yeah.
She's happy. She was like, "Yeah, as long as you give me money for my petrol." It was like the last gig we did. She was like, because she drove me to Ottawa and back to Papatoa, and she was like, "Just pay me 100." And then I was like, "Yeah," but we were on the way there, so I was really like going, "Oh, well, we're late. So I just said yes, sir, and then it got to yes. Then I got the payment, and then she was like, "Are you gonna pay me?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll transfer you your money now." So after I transferred it, I was like, "That's a bit too much for just good." That's a bit too much. You just drove me there, drove me back, and slept the 4 hours. But yeah, it's that's what I'm just focusing on that. But yeah, just trying to tap into our Pacific community at the moment. So
how's that going?
It's good. Like I've got a lot of friends here that have been sharing my stuff around. Like even if one person shares it, I'm happy. Like from a digital marketing point of view, like people think that if you only get 3 likes on your photo, then nobody's seen it. If you go behind it, probably you have that little 200. Okay, there's numbers that you look at, and then
is it reach?
Yeah,
the reach is there.
So the reach is people have seen it. Like they physically scrolled and they've seen that photo. So only 3 people liked it, but 2,000 people. You reach 2,000 people. Out of that 2,000 people, 100 people will probably remember your business. So,
and that's probably an important thing, eh? It's not just the likes, eh?
It's like the likes is, it makes you feel good. You'll be like, oh, yeah,
but it's not
I'm famous. That's not the biggest thing you should worry about. The biggest thing you worry about is, are people seeing it or not? Because you can get 10 likes and 10 people have only seen it. No, probably 10,000 people saw it. And then I'm looking at doing collaborations with like you reach out to me, so I'm very thankful for that. It's going to help me immensely. Like I can take your video and just put it into something, put it on TikTok. I can sell your podcast. You can sell mine. But I'm looking at places like Panikeke, these people that like fashion designers here, because those are the people that have bigger markets. And as I said, how I started off with Evengi and Janet's and all of that, because it's women. Women are the ones that like to take photos. The men are just there to look nice with the women. But if I jump into this and go, oh, Panikeke, I want to work with you. I'll do a free photo shoot for you. I went on, and you go and look around at all these people and see their social media pages. Like Panikeke has about, say, 10,000 followers now on TikTok. Imagine if I collaborate with her and get my name onto her platform for people to come and join my platform, that's the main idea I'm looking at. Like I'm not really looking, if I get business from time to time in the next few months, that's fine. But I'm looking more down the line in terms of just getting my name out in South Auckland and Auckland as general.
Because that's your community thing happening, because it's going both ways.
Yeah.
You're helping businesses, and in return you're getting your name out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because not only am I saying that I can take free photos for them for their product, I can say, hey, I've got this much followers on my page too. Like, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. And then later down the road, you'll be like, I can do work for you and you can pay me for it. And then if you need my help sometime, and then I can say yes, and it goes both ways. It's not just a one-way road. You're not just going to help yourself to other people's hard work. Like, they've worked hard to get their followers. What are you going to do for them to get to where they are in terms of New Zealand and this whole new country that you've come to?
At the same time, like it's quite easy to share. At the same time, like, it's free.
It's free.
Just touch a button. That's it. That's what we gotta do.
There was a voiceover I came past on TikTok. It was like, if you have a chance, like this is my only guy that's just going, if you have a chance to help a friend out with his business, please don't say you're gonna help them out. Share his stuff. Like, and this was just me. It was so every time I do a photo shoot, I get my sister to do behind the scenes videos. So she just takes videos on my phone, like short 8-second videos, but take a lot. So when I can do my videos, I can add them all together, and it just tells a story of what I'm working on, and it just tells people that, hey, he's got jobs, so people are probably like hiring him and stuff like that. But at the back of you have to be how do you say it? You have to be very smart on how you do it. You know, like there was times that I didn't have any work, but I made it seem like I had work, because you want people to see you and be like, oh yeah, he's in business, he's good, he's this. But you're selling yourself out there in a way that sometimes you have to lie about it, but you're not technically lying about it. You're just telling them that, hey, I'm here. I'm here and I'm ready, and if you need me, you can just let me know. The biggest thing to me is if I get a message, that's the most. I get happy. Like I'll be like, oh yeah, they saw me somewhere. This girl just goes, oh, I didn't know you own White Light, and I go, what do you mean? What do you mean? This girl that I shot on, I did a couples photo for them at Manurewa 2 weeks ago. She saw my TikTok or she saw one of my TikToks. This was just me taking photos of my niece at home in front of our house. My sister was like, you have to pay for my daughter. I was like, it's just help out the business. But I posted that up, and then she messaged me. She goes, oh, me and my husband have always been looking for a photographer, but we're too shy. And I go, they didn't know I was Samoan. Like, she didn't even know I owned White Light, because my TikTok page doesn't go under White Light, it goes under another name.
And probably the name of your business too.
Huh?
Probably the name of your business too.
Nah, this is something else. But then,
if it was called Brown Light, maybe.
No, but she's seen my stuff when I was in Samoa, because I, as I said, I post a lot of my stuff, but she didn't know it was me. Like, I own White Light. So when we were doing a shoot, and then she goes, and then she goes, I didn't know you own White Light. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, I saw your video, but I didn't know you own White Light. I was like, yeah, I own White Light. I was like, I saw your photos everywhere. I was like, oh, that's good, because that's what I want. You want your stuff to be out there everywhere, people just to see it, even if they're just gonna message you and say, how much is a photo shoot? Like, oh yeah, people are seeing my stuff, so that's good. And just be active online.
yeah, man. Also, man.
That was awesome.
Thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's good to meet you, eh? Good to meet you, eh? Like, man, I hope things go well. And
yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Do you do, you see you do family portraits as well?
Yeah, I do family portraits.
Yeah.
I take bomb as family portraits. Yeah, I do. Cool. I do.
Okay, so for our listeners, where would they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. So I try to change my name to White Light Photography New Zealand. Okay. But yeah, so my Instagram goes on White Light Photography New Zealand now, just to try and change the algorithm so it comes into here. But my Facebook is still on White Light Photography Samoa. Okay. And I think that's why the reason people are still messaging. Yeah. Because Facebook gives you like 9 days to be like, oh, we have to check if it's a valid name that you can use. But yeah, it's still White Light Photography Samoa. I'm also on TikTok. Under I am Nix.
I am Nix.
I am Nix. There's like this Palangi girl down in China. I've got my name Nix like tattooed on my wrist. She's like, what's that? It's like, oh, it's Nix. And she's like, what is it? It's like, my name. And she goes, in case you forget. I was like, yeah, later. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Where's the other one? Yeah, that's the main ones I'm using now.
All right, awesome.
Thank you very much, man. Shut, man.
Shut.